I sat just 2 rows behind the family, so I could see the children and
The Jackson
Catherine.
family.
The
I saw you there
family.
with your pearls right in the middle of
Well,
it.
yeah. Well, I was wearing I put the dress on at like 5 o'clock in the morning and took it off last night. I mean, I don't want to tell you what it was like by the end of the day. But to be, to see them very close, to see their expressions, and to see these children whom we have seen covered up, all of these years.
Yeah, they love
and the only one who seemed moved, because, sometimes as we were talking about, kids don't really even function, especially after something as horrific as losing your father, like that. But the eldest, the daughter, Paris, kept putting her head on her grandmother's shoulder and then on LaToya's shoulder. Beautiful child, long hair, beautiful child. There she is with her. She's the one who spoke. There she is with her older brother. They happened to be beautiful children. They asked him if he wanted to speak, and I saw him shake his head no. And he and the little boy, who's known as Blanket, who's 6 years old, covered his face when they all went up for the finale, but sat throughout the ceremony, the 2 boys blowing bubble gum, sort of not exactly knowing where they were or why they were there. But, beautiful, good-looking children. Yeah. I've known, Michael better than I do, but I've known Michael and I've known the family for so many years, and to see them and to hug them, and, I found it perhaps much more emotional than just as a journalist, because we did a special last night, but I felt, being this close to them,
you could tell your connection
involved.
last night, I thought.
Well,
I thought it was incredibly appropriate, the amount of connection that you had.
Well, you talked about Paris. At the end, there was an impromptu finale. It had not been planned. And the children got up on the stage. And that's when the littlest boy put his program over his face and hid his face the way his father used to. And that's when Paris, impromptu, unplanned, took to the microphone. We have that?
Just wanted to say,
Speak up, sweetheart, speak up. Get close.
ever since I was born, Daddy has been the best father you could ever imagine. And I just wanted to say I love him so much.
By the way, that's Janet Jackson hugging Paris behind her, LaToya, and then the other woman who came in as a non-performing sister.
Right.
Yeah. Enormously touching, very touching. There were some other moments. I mean, everybody I thought was very special. Even the audience was respectful and subdued. We heard so much about, crowds and chaos. There were thousands of people who didn't see it that way. I was very moved by Usher and his singing, and then he went over to the coffin, and then you will see what happened, the family embracing him.
Gone too soon. Gone too soon.
Now, what happened when that was over, as you can see, is that the whole family, Jackson family, stood up and embraced him for the first time that they had come. Just one more thing about it. Gone Too Soon was what Michael Jackson said to me about Princess Diana. Yeah. And we had shown that at some point. And now here is Usher singing the same song.